Hello. Hope everyone's having a good week. It's me, Onyx Dude. Hope y'all are good. Hope y'all are safe. Wanted to talk about the Find Mika video. I try to find like a way to start like talking about it, but I guess start with the idea. Um, my friend Stars underscore actually was talking to me and said that it would be a funny idea, and I thought like I never really figured out like how people actually do this, so I just decided to go for it. And man, this project it's not like it's hard. It was just a lot of information to get to parse. Um so I guess this is kind of like a tutorial, but not really. I don't really label these as such. Kind of more like a hey, if you find this interesting as a concept, then you can like watch me or I guess listen to me talk about it in this case. Um so I guess I'll do the step by step like I've done in the past. Uh, so as you can see here, the premise is that we are doing the Find Luigi minigame or the Wanted minigame. This was inspired by uh, I mean obviously people might know the Twitter account, the Find Luigi, but that is a game from the Nintendo DS remake of the Super Mario 64, the one with Yoshi, Mario, Wario, and Luigi, all that. There was a bunch of mini games on there that like the casino, but one of the ones that I remember playing a lot was the Find Luigi, where you have like the cutout of the like everyone, all the four characters. You have like all their heads come out. So like Wario, Mario, Yoshi, and Luigi, and your goal is to find a singular Luigi and just like tap on the screen with your DS, which it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's kind of fun in a nostalgic way now, but I wouldn't I wouldn't pay money for it. I mean, obviously it would be full game, more like a mini game kind of deal. So that's what this is. This is a homage and proof of concept to that, but for Uni. I themed it after Lick Christ because they have four playable characters in game, and I thought that would be cool. I thought about doing it for Amnesia, uh, but really it's just another excuse to have Mika be the main person because I like Mika. Um, I think it'd be funny just to find Mika. So yeah, that's the premise, and obviously if I let it play, you can see, you can kind of see Mika like bouncing around right here. So how did I do this? So obviously I talked about this in my last video, but I'll mention it again. The website I went to get all the sprites for all the characters in Uni, I I should probably put it in the description of this video. I meant to do it in the last video, but I'll do it for this one for sure. Um, I just found the sprite folders for Wagner and Kaguya because I didn't have them. I had Orye and Mika already, so I just downloaded them. And then I used Photoshop to use the magnetic lasso tool to get a very clean cut of all their heads. So you wonder how clean I did it. I had to go in and very meticulously do it. I mean, it's not like super hard. The only hard part was like cutting out like the neck area and like what to keep in this area to keep it, relatively identified, like who the character is. Obviously, you don't make it look too weird. Um, yeah, I don't know if there's other programs that can't do it. Unfortunately, GIMP does not have a magnetic lasso tool. I think I think I know there's a free browser based version of that of like Photoshop you can get, just like go on the browser and use it. And you can maybe use that. If I think of the name when I'm finished recording this video, I'll also post it in the description. But there's plenty of methods of getting Adobe. I'm not gonna condone stealing, Uh, but I will say that if you look hard enough and found an illegal copy, I would say don't download it and don't use it. But if you find it, you have to know where to look. So, um, so yeah, I just use Photoshop and then cut all the heads out and then open up After Effects because this is what I've been using for like the last couple weeks to make this. So, big thing actually. Let me pull up this website. Very conveniently, I was looking up a effect on on. I was trying to look up how to actually make this effect possible, and I just thought to myself, well, it's kind of like the bouncing DVD logo expression, and I found a video that linked me to this website. This is the guy who made the video, and this is his website. He hosts stuff on. So as you can see, there's code on here. You might be thinking, "Uh oh, does this use coding?" Yeah, this was all made with code. You can read right here. So go to After Effects. I'll go up to where's the actual Mika head herself. So you can see Mika. It's like hiding behind the cloud right here. If I click on this layer and hit P, you'll see a position here. You see that this is red, and this is red because this is actually being used by an expression. This is what it's called. To access expressions, you hold Alt and left click on this. Oops. You will hold Alt and then left click on the little stopwatch here. But since I already have it in place, I can just have this expression put in place here and pull this down because there's so many layers and you can kind of see what we're working with here. Pull down all the way just so you can see it. So this is the full expression. I did add and modify it a bit. As far as I understand, this is all JavaScript question mark. Definitely Java. So if you know how to code in Java, you can use this. If you don't know how to code at all, it's still really it's not really too bad. There's a lot of this stuff I actually kind of just stumbled across and looked up how to do, and it kind of just worked. Need to modify that code a little bit. Is that gonna change anything? No, it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, this is not. I'm not gonna talk about how to code because I frankly I suck. I tried it. I tried learning it, and I never stuck with it. But if you understand the basics, you can kind of get very far. All the text here in green is basically just saying like what this is used for. This probably shouldn't be here. So yeah. So this is the variable v. The var is variable. So variable v is 400, and it tells you the note here. Tells you what's for. This is called good programming, good coding. Leave a little note here, and it says velocity. Tells you what this is for. This is the initial position. This is the biggest thing about this project was setting up the initial position, and we can actually come out of this one and go up to my test Mika. This is the test Mika. So here, right, this is what the code would look like if I got rid of all of this. So let's just get rid of that. Delete. And then also get rid of that. And then instead of this being random number variable, you will get rid of that. And then 0, 0. And it fucked up. I don't know. Oh, right. Just that. I'm guessing is the problem. Yeah, okay. So if you set it to 0, 0, it will start up in the top left-hand corner. And no matter what you do here, even if you try to change position, it'll just snap right back because the code expression will supersede your manual attempting to move the Mika head. What the author suggested you could do, and this is, mind you, the person writing this code was not telling me to use it for this project. I had to modify his code for this project. It was supposed to be used within the context of like a DVD screensaver. I don't know how many people are enough to remember those. I can't believe I just said that out loud. I'm so old. But yeah, it's like it basically just has an icon that bumps around the screen. You've probably seen it in like some memes or whatever. But um, what you're supposed to do, I'll try to demonstrate it here. I'll grab the null here for this one. So what you're supposed to do is come back to the code and you highlight the bracket 00 for the XY position, and grab this little whip here. This is a parent link whip. Uh, so basically, you can take this and drag it up to this position, and it will basically just kind of copy. You can see the code change from 00 to now being uh, this comp dot layer, and then this says the name of the layer question, which is null2 dot transform dot position, which is basically just saying, hey, where the null object is, copy where this layer should be. So these should basically be overlapping. It's a little hard to see, but it should be overlapping, but it's not. But that's my point. I did some other funky things to mess with it. So initially, I was having a really hard time trying to make this position random. And the reason why I wanted it to be random was because, as you can see, there's a bunch of character heads on here. We have like at least like 10 Wagners, a bunch of Warriors, a lot of Kageyas. I didn't like one Mika. So while I could be insane and just set a position manually for every single head, the fact that I have to move the heads using this expression in the code means that it would be a real pain in the ass to do. Luckily, I did find a solution. And the solution, as you can see, is this code up here. So if you wonder what this is, and if you wonder what I should probably back up just a little teensy bit. But if you don't know what a null object is, if you right click in the little area right here, like down here, and then you would new, the null object. And basically what a null object is specifically for this reasoning to link a layer or like some kind of image or whatever thing you're working with here, whether it's a video or like text layer or like a image layer. You will do that parent link where you kind of grab that little whip and connect it to like the position of this null position or this null 2, and then it would link it together so that way you can just have it be set at that spot, so you're not manually moving it. This technique is pretty important if you're doing like a bunch of particle effects, like a bunch of things that are like really small and how have their own like movement. It's really, really, really good to know how to use. But the initial method I was using to set this up would have required as many null position points as there would be of these heads. And as you can see, there's like 49, maybe 50 of these. So that's too much work. I would need 50 null objects per head. And if I want to add more, or less, I have to delete some. So no. We're not doing that. So instead, back to the Mika head here. I found this code that you can use. So I just kind of went around and Googled a little bit. I think I literally just Googled how to set random position, or like how to call every random position, because I don't want just a random position per head. I need it so that when a new head would be placed in the layer, like if a new layer would pop up of a new like head, it wouldn't just go and stack on top of each other. Like if there were like 10 Wagners behind like this one face, like right here. I don't want that because then I have to move in every individual Wagner head around. So came up with this code. And this code is based off of this null test up here. So I put on the slider effect, which I would click on the slider thing, but if you if you click on this, it's probably going to start tweaking. Oh, it didn't tweak. So slider control, and just try and drag it over to here. And basically I just made 4 different points for it. And then I just wrote down like, hey, connect your position to left. So these are all now defined variables. Basically, how coding works is that you define a variable so that way you can reference it later. If that makes sense. So like, man, I don't even know a good way to explain it. It's kind of like when you're solving for x in algebra. If like you have 10 times x equals like 20, for example, right? And the way you would solve that problem is you would take 10 and divide it by 10x to move the 10 to the other side of the equation. So you would get 20 divided by 10. I said divide, right? Yeah, 10x divided by 10 would cancel out the 10 on the one side of the equation. The other side of the equation would be 20 divided by 10, which is 2. And then the solution would be x times 2. X times 2. X equals 2. And then if you plug 2 into x, you would get 10 times 2, which is 20, which is how you know the equation is true. So it's kind of like algebra, kind of, where you are more or less just taking, more or less kind of just defining what x should be, and then you let the program plug in what it should be, right? So these are all variables for left, right, top, bottom, which basically just saying, hey, these should be the relative positions, and it should be set on a value depending on what's going on null test. Random seed, basically random seed. Random seed basically means that you are taking a random variable that's generated, and every time this code is ran, it produces a different result. Or at least it should. And particularly this particular string, the index comma true. Index basically means what position it should be in. That's kind of left it blank to reference null. And then timeless true means that it will not move. So I don't want this to move. It's already being moved by all this other code that's going down here. And then Gauss random. Gauss random is basically Gauss random is trying to have random numbers meet more in the middle of a random variable set. Actually, end up changing this for some of these. Some of these are just random, and then some of these are random Gauss. So more of these are kind of more concentrated in like the middle of the screen, which is good. And then have the Gauss random be left, right, and top, bottom for the XY coordinate. And then this function here, if I remember correctly, is basically, I think this is what you actually have to do to make it set make it random every time. So this is the first random seed, basically saying, okay, you should get a random XY value, and then the second one should be, hey, every time this is produced, you should also have a random value from up here. So it's basically guaranteed to be random. If I copy and paste more of these like heads up here, they should all appear in random spots. There might be some ordered chaos here, but all in all, it should be like random. So the goal isn't, it doesn't really matter how random it is. The goal is I am not the one actually putting it down. The program is doing this based on the code that I didn't write. So more like I copy pasted because I didn't write this shit. Maybe like a couple minutes ago, I didn't even know what this code actually did until I just kind of read it. And then way down here, what the variable was initially, instead of it being a number like the bracket x number y number, it's just calling this function up here, this function right here. So it knows what to do. Should be a semicolon right there as well. So yeah. So, I mean, you don't really need to know how the code works like fully. There's not a lot you really need to change in the grand scheme of things, but also like if you go on that website, it'll give you in-depth explanation within the context of it being a DVD screensaver logo thing that kind of bumps around screen. Uh, that's what this is, and then yeah, every head is random. I kept these other null ones because some of these heads were already connected to the null already. So every time I move and put more layers on here, these get shifted around because they're tied to a specific index number, and because it's not in that index slot, um, which by the way, the index numbering, you see that little like number symbol right here. This is what it means. So like if I made a reference, say like, hey, null position, I'm sorry, index 5. Um, it'll take a look at what's there and say, oh, it's null 1 or just specific null 1. We'll reference that because that's what I was trying to do initially to make it random, but that really what ended up happening. So I just made the position random because why not? It's so much easier. It saves me so much more time because otherwise I'll be. I think that video I made would probably be posted like what time is it? It's like 7 o'clock. Yeah, like 7:02, right? So I would be like forced to like listen to like music while dealing with this, and then probably post it like now. And God help me in my soul if I had to like make more because I wanted to make more, make it harder because that would have been like the bit. Well, not really bit. Like it would have been like the point of the video would have been like, hey, there's more, right? Because this is like this is like the not easy version. I've already put it on Twitter, but this is like the either easy or intermediate version. You can kind of see the heads bouncing around here. Um, what's cool though is that this code does check to see uh, it does check to see the width and height of your composition here. So if I set it to 1,000 by 1,000, the code will now make it bounce around in here. So it's not a utility for this code. Again, I'll put this website that hosts the code in the description if you want to try and make this yourself. And then I'll actually just post like the full code itself, but you will need to make your own null test or null. It doesn't have to be null test. Obviously, you just name this whatever you want to name it. I just called it null test because I was just testing the concept, and then end up working. So I just kind of kept it because I'm lazy. Like realistically, no one would see this unless you're watching this video. So um, better practice would be to properly name it so you know what you're looking at. Um, so yeah, then I exported this out and then come over here to DaVinci. I simply just took the footage and chopped it at 7 seconds, 17 seconds, and I put Mika's theme from ST/clear in there because I think it sounds better than her Unity 2 theme. Even though it's just the first 17 seconds, but um, I really wanted just that like beginning like motif that plays. Yeah, so that's it. Nothing else really fancy. All the hard work was in was done in After Effects. You can do a lot in After Effects. You can do a lot of interesting things with code. But would I recommend someone doing this? No. More of a proof of concept, really. I was talking to Zapoke about this because he had also made the video, the Find World Chia video, which then got turned into a game. But what he did was that he found a website that just let him plug in the appropriate sprites for like the floating heads, and then he just captured the screen and recorded it and put it as the video. Um, so while his is more like an actual like web based program, this is a video. Like it was made as a video instead of like as a game being recorded, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's this is my insanity. I find myself just being like I'd like I went to sleep last night because I started making this last night and then like I was just like, man, I was just like thinking. I put it down for a while. It was like 8 o'clock and I put it down and like at like 11 o'clock I was like, wait, I know how to do this. Um, yeah. Initially, the initial heads that you see here in the actual video were all quote unquote manually placed within the code. Before I figured out how to make it random. So all of these heads are technically uniquely placed. So that's some fun trivia for you. Um, I didn't end up making it all random though, because if you think I'm doing this for over 100 heads, by the time this little like series is over, you no, I'm not doing that. No, 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 no. So, anyways, yeah, that's it for the video. Just I guess interesting concept about how to use code to make cool things happen in After Effects. Um, Next video will be out next week. I'll probably end up. I really wanted to kind of get into like how I made the Merkava edit where the worm transforms into Wallstein and grabs Litne, or like the Batista somehow doing the Blood Shield from Rev 2. I'll probably pick one of those if I'm not cooking up something else. But hopefully this is good. If someone's mad enough to try to make this within the context of a video, uh, you can find the evidence of my madness here. But thank you for watching. I definitely do appreciate people being interested in this kind of stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next video.